Hello everyone, I am here to show you my latest gnome creations. Oh my goodness guys, I have really enjoyed making these two little gnomes to add to my collection, especially because it's Christmas. But before I get to that, let me say thank you so much for being here to check in on my amigurumi progress. I know it's been a bit because I've been so busy with other things, but it's Christmas and I just had to have these made up for myself as soon as I saw the patterns drop. And I love my gnomes, so I had to have them. But I will leave a link to the pattern for the Santa Claus gnome and the book that has the other little gnome. I'll get to him in just a few moments. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. If you like these little gnomes, please let me know which one you are going to make. If you're into amigurumis, I would really like to know. And are you going to keep them traditional like the pattern shows? Which is what I did do, as you saw in the pictures. Because to me, Christmas is all about the traditional colors: red, white, green, gold, silver. That's just what I prefer to see at Christmas. And so I did kind of keep them right along with what the designers of these gnomes had created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the gnomes, each one individually. I'm going to tell you what I liked about the patterns, what I didn't like about the patterns, and yes, I will be making more, but it'll be, a few months. These are just for me personally. I'm thinking about, I have a stepdaughter that loves gnomes too. And so I'm thinking that I will make her some to add to her collection for next year. But anyway, let's get started. So I'm going to show you. Now this little gnome here comes from the book that I purchased from my adventures back in late September when we went to Tennessee. We stopped in at the spinnery, and there was a book there. One of my friends, Leslie of the Corn, she said, Maureen, you need this book. And of course, it was all about gnomes, and there he was in the back. So there he is. Now his legs are not stuffed, which allows you to set him on the edge of a shelf or on your mantle like you saw in the picture that I had taken, which is really nice. There are a couple of things that I did change on him. Now, in fact, just a moment, let me pop up a picture for you so you can see what he was supposed to look like if I made him exactly like the pattern. All right, now as you can see, that gnome has eyes. My gnomes do not have eyes. You never see their eyes. It's not that they don't have them. It's just that we don't see them. It's all about their cute little noses, folks. There we go. It's all about their cute little noses and the way their hats fit down on their head and everything. And as you can see, so I chose not to show his eyes. And I did not like the beard, so I kind of came in with this curlicue one that I put on. I've put it on several gnomes over the years. Sometimes I don't have the yarn or the faux fur, to cut out and put a beard. There's some beards that you can make that are flat. You crochet them and flat, and they kind of have a look. I did those once or twice. Yeah, so I prefer to either give him a curlicue beard, or as you saw on the Santa, which I'll pull up here in just a minute, you just, a lot of string is attached, and then if you wish to brush it out, you can. I just chose to leave mine like it is. So that is what I changed. But in not putting his eyes on, which I didn't think far enough ahead, it forced me to push the hat down a little bit further on his head, and this is fairly tight in here because, folks, in this gnome pattern, this is not stuffed. No, his head is sculpted all the way up into the hat. Now the hat is crocheted separately and you put it on here, but as I was saying, because I chose not to put his eyes on, that dropped his hat down a little bit further, so it made it kind of tight in here. So I've already made myself a note that for the next time I need to go, I need to do some increasing a little bit more in here so that when his hat fits down over his head, it's a little more floppy and open. But that's just an aesthetic thing. And of course too, I used a little bit stronger acrylic. It's Red Heart, and it is a 4-weight, so that probably too added to the stiffness of the hat. It's not near as floppy, but I mean, it's okay, it works. Now notice how short his little arms are. Yeah, I didn't know that either until I went to put him together, so I've already made a note for myself as well. I would like for his arms to just be a little bit longer. So I don't know next time if I'm going to give him a little bit more hand or if I'm just going to give him a little bit more of the arm there. The only other, I love this stitching here. Isn't that cute? I think next time I'll put in another little row like right up on top. I just thought that was really cute, and I should have done that whenever I was making him, but again, you know, I was just going with the pattern. Now the only thing I don't like about his legs is that they are awfully big compared to his little body. So I'm going to take out a few of the stitches the next time. I'm not going to make his legs quite as fat, but he does sit very well, as you saw there on the I'm going to try to see if I can get it. Well, it's real easy to get him balanced in my hand, isn't it? And I just love his little shoes. Aren't they cute? Yes. He was a lot of fun to make. Now, I thought he was the perfect substitute for Elf on the Shelf. Now, he hasn't told me what his name is. Is that not crazy? I just been sitting here calling him Little Gnome. I mean, this is the first time I've made an amigurumi, folks, in which he wasn't speaking to me. I mean, he wasn't telling me his name. So I don't know if he's just being a little turkey or if he himself doesn't know what he wants to be called. But hopefully here, you know, over time, with him sitting up on the shelf and every time I see him, maybe he'll whisper it to me. And if he does, I'll let y'all know in a future video. But anyway, there he is. I think he's just as cute as a button, except for just a few modifications next time. Oh, and you know what? I was also thinking he might need a little girlfriend. What do y'all think? Let me know. I think he needs a girlfriend, don't you? Yes. Okay. So there's that one. This next one, I'm just so tickled over, man. I am not kidding you. It's been a long time that I have truly enjoyed and just, I'm not kidding you, folks. For 3 days, I worked on these two gnomes because I wanted to get him finished. He's the perfect collection to my Christmas decorations. Oh, he is. I just love him. Oh my goodness. And of course his name is Santa. I mean, I wasn't going to change his name for that. But just look. Oh, I just love. Now his head does, whenever you're making gnomes, most patterns cap off just pretty quick. I mean, this is the first gnome pattern on on the little elf that I've ever seen that, you know, really was quite a bit of skull, I guess you could say, to the hat, to the little gnome pattern. But he rounded off pretty quickly once we got past. But look at that nose. I mean, this is your classic gnome nose, just really big. His little, look, he's got his little thumb there sitting. And no, you only stuff the hand, the rest of it, so that if you want to, I had kind of thought about maybe putting some you know, pipe cleaners in there so that I could pose him a little bit, but nah, I didn't do that. Now I will tell you, and I couldn't figure out why, she had used right here between the gray and the white, there's supposed to be a row of crab stitches there. Now I tried the crab stitch, I tried the what I call faux, it's just a twisted single crochet row around there. But the problem I ran into is that, to me, the crab stitch is more of a finishing stitch. And so, by the instructions, I could not understand. I mean, I can't tell you how long, more than a few minutes, I can tell you that, in trying to figure out where, because there was a setup row, then you used the crab stitch, and there was no loops to go into to create the next row of stitches to continue on making him. So if any of you know if you're going to use a crab stitch right in the middle of a pattern, how do you set it up so that you can keep on adding rows to it? I would like to know that if you know. But anyway, or maybe lead me to a YouTube channel that shows how to do that. I just haven't taken the time to YouTube it to see if there is such a thing. But look at these little legs. Are they not the cutest? You talk about peppermint candy legs. Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And look at them little trousers. And he does sit very, very well on the mantle. I mean, there's no propping or nothing. He sits there very well. Now, one of my complaints on the pattern is I don't like the shoes. I just really don't, because in her pattern, these little shoes do bend just like they're supposed to, like that. Well, when you crochet them up, they do not. The only way I have been able to get them to do any type of forming at all is I went back in and did a few stitches, some gathering, so that I could cause it to pucker here and come up just a little bit more. But it's still, yeah. So I'm not happy with the shoes, and it could be operator error. Okay? I mean, because I did spend quite a bit of time. I think I did 2 different sets, and these were out of the 4 shoes, these were the 2 that were the best. So anyway, but I think in my next one, I will either look to be buying some little booties, and just hot gluing them on there, or just come up with a different design for the shoes. I know I can find a pattern that might have little elf shoes that I could put on there. But anyway, but there he is. I just, now, I'm not one for combing out when you use the string type beard. I really like the fullness of this. I just don't like brushing it out. I have tried it. I've never been a fan of it. So I just normally leave mine a little long and let them keep doing. But I just love him. I really, really do. Now, I'm also thinking that I can use this basic same pattern and make a Mrs. Claus. What do you think? Instead of the beard, of course, you would have to have some braids, or maybe some of this curly Q pattern that I use, sticking out from underneath her hat. Just give her some little sprigs of hair just popping out from underneath there. Put her a little skirt on. I think just keeping the same body style and everything, just maybe giving her a little red skirt, or maybe even just going ahead and making it all one color and buying me some tulle and just putting her on a cute little red tulle skirt. What do you think? Wouldn't that be cute? But anyway, so there is my Christmas gnomes for 2025. I'm really, really happy with them. This one is my favorite. And yes, I love him too, because he will be my gnome on the shelf instead of elf on the shelf. But anyway, I do hope that you've enjoyed this little exhibition of my Christmas gnomes. Like I said, you'll find a link down in the description box for both the pattern. Now, Santa is a pattern, and the gnome did come out, the gnome on the shelf did come out in a book. But you will find a link to both of those down in the description box if you're interested in purchasing the patterns and making you up some, because you still got time to do it. Thank you again so much for being here. Let me know, give me some ideas of how you might make your own, make it personal, or if you think about making them as a gift, because if I make one for my daughter-in-law, I know that every year she brings them out, she's going to think of her stepmom, and it'll be a treasure. I just know it will. And if you make them to give as a gift, every time they pull it out to look at it, they're going to think of you. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Please remember to hit that like button. Share out the video to someone else who is a gnome nut like me. All right? As always, folks, be the light out there in the darkness for someone today, because you never know. Could be your light they need to see. And with the holidays upon us, we all need to see a little light, don't you think? I love you guys, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.